sort of just segue slightly into what we're doing in the fall, like our bulbs, for example. Now, the bulbs, they come from Holland, at least what you get here in Saskatoon or in Canada, come from Holland. And I'm finding out that the shipments are about 3 weeks behind, delayed or on back order, because it's been so very, very wet in Europe. And Holland, gee, is a low country. The Netherlands, which translates to be the wetlands. So digging the bulbs has taken them longer because of the climate. So they're a little bit later. Thankfully, we have a nice open fall, so it's gonna sort of all even out. The soil for your bulbs, whether you're planting daffodils, tulips, crocus, hyacinths, or all of the above, needs to be exceptionally well drained. Exceptionally well drained. How many of you have put tulip bulbs in, red tulips in this, in this fall? Next spring, they come up, they're beautiful. Next year, where are they? Or they're little tiny things like this, or they're kind of gone pink or white. Anybody had that problem? Yeah, a lot of us have that problem. Typically, that has to do again with your drainage and the density of your soil. Okay, so with a bulb bed or when you're putting your bulbs in, really modify the soil. Really put some work into the patch that you're going in. Maybe you're only putting a dozen bulbs in. All right, scoop out the soil. Get it going with your, maybe it's more compost, maybe it's more kitty litter, whatever, to afford excellent drainage so that the water doesn't sit at the bulb's base, but it goes past the bulb. And then the bulbs will start to root into that nice soil that you've created, and they're fine. Best way to kill the bulb, tulip, daffodil, or whatever, is have them sit in water. They don't like wet behinds. Okay? Does that make sense to you? Okay, yes?
I don't have enough dirt.
Dirt?
Too much.
Oh, we don't use that word.
Oh,
Dirt is under your fingernails, dear.
I'm sorry.
You haven't got enough soil.
Soil.
I'm only kidding.
So I want to dig out some of my lawn in a nice sunny area. Okay, so I'm going to dig out, say I'm going to dig out, 3 feet by 3 feet, just to plant some tulips and daffodils.
Yeah.
How deep do I dig out the existing soil to put my bulbs in? How deep should I dig out that? Because it's been there for 35 years.
So chances are that the soil is quite compacted.
Yes.
It might be a little coarse,
Yes.
maybe clayish, all right?
Yeah.
When you're planting daffodils, tulips, bulbs, the rule of thumb is that you plant them 2.5 times as deep as the bulb is.
Okay.
All right?
That's not very deep.
Not very deep. So some people say, 6 to 8 inches in around there is fine. Let's go with 6 inches deep, just for lack of argument. I would go down another 6 inches.
Okay.
So I would go a foot
Yeah.
in your bulb bed, and then afford the best drainage in the bottom 6 inches.
Get my soil prepared.
There you go. Now, you know what? When you buy a truckload of soil, or the topsoil from whoever the people are that deliver topsoil, if you live in an area that is sandy loam, chances are your topsoil is going to be sandy loam. If you live in Regina, for example, and it's all clay, guess what the topsoil is going to be? It's going to be clay. So you pay $85 for a truckload of clay to be brought in and put in your garden. Just think about that, okay? And you can come to your own decisions on that. But yes, so the bulbs are in. Now, one big mistake that people go home with from talks like this is they say, well, that guy said I have to have good drainage, and they make a layer cake. Right, so in your bed, you're going to be 3 feet by 3 feet, and you've dug down a whole foot. Well, then I'm going to have this layer of whatever, good drainage. Then I'm going to put some bone meal. Here we are, because that guy said that bone meal is a really good. So when you put a little layer of bone meal on, it's like that taco 7-layer dip thing that you make, right? And that's what your garden ends up looking like. Not the way to do it, all right? Mix, stir, chew it in, right? Get it all together. Because what happens is, little Miss Bulb is sitting on top of this bone meal, right? Going, what the heck is all this stuff, right? Out go the roots, and it's just way too high of a concentration, and they're burnt off, or they don't do anything. So it just makes common sense. But a lot of people need that little, I get it now. Okay, so consider that. So we have good drainage, as rich a soil as you can possibly afford your bulbs, and as strange as it may seem, they like to be watered. Go figure. All right. So if you've built your bed a foot deep, it's going to take a long time for water at the top of the foot of the soil to get down to the bottom. So as you're building your bulb bed, then put some water in and let that soak in down, and then put the next sort of chunk of soil in and water that in, so that at the end of your period of time, your entire bulb bed or flower bed or whatever you have has moisture all the way through it. Be sensible, you're not making a swimming pool, just a little bit. Tip for people who use peat moss as well, or something that comes in a bale that's compressed, warm water in the bag first. And not hot, but cold will take forever. It's like trying to wet a cork, right? And peat moss floats on the top of it and everything else. So warm water is the best to help that come along. All right, so you have that. You have, now bone meal is very high in the middle number, right, which is phosphorus. And phosphorus is getting a lot of bad press lately because of all the excess phosphates that are going into our water systems, etc. And that's all very well and true. So just be diligent when you use it. Don't spread it willy-nilly everywhere. It's unlike money that more is not better. Just sprinkle. All right, just like you're putting icing sugar on top of a cake. Just ice, just a little bit goes in. Handful per foot is kind of what we go by rule of thumb. All right, you can read the instructions, or you can go online and check that out too. But you know what? A handful per foot, in it goes, and that's pretty well it. You don't have to.